Hello everybody and welcome to the Combe Racing League. I am joined today by Fandango.
Good evening.
Yeah, Interlagos, round 2 of Tier 2 here for Season 8. Still got a couple of drivers yet to join the lobby, but I mean it's Interlagos, it's going to be a good race. No questions there.
Yeah, it should be. I've seen in the other teams already that there's been some amazing racing. I was thankfully involved in a superb opener in Brazil. And of course, Brazil being Brazil, there was a spot of rain on the day. Looks alright at the moment, just a bit of overcloud, but there's that was exactly how I was started the other day as well. We'll see, hopefully we'll get out sooner rather than later. Come and have a go at it.
Yeah, you quite often... The drivers usually complain if there is rain forecast, and I'm not seeing that just yet, though it is certainly possible. I think the car's way too loud. And I need to very quickly change some of the settings. There's a... what am I doing? Give me a second. No, wrong one. Where are we going?
YouTube on as well, actually.
Right.
What you can see.
Okay, hopefully the echo is gone, although we'll quickly turn down the audio. Apologies for this.
Strauss coming out on the immediates, is that just to burn a lap?
Possibly. We've got T-Griff out at the moment. Who else? Yeah, DeRoy McConey. Oh, you're right, he is on the medians.
Does look dark. If there was a hint of rain, to be honest though, I think we would have seen a lot of cars out almost immediately to try and get around and get a lap solidly in before there was a spot of rain, so we can't be worried.
Yeah, T-Griff now starting his first lap, so we'll stay on board with him. But yeah, you are right. It does imply there isn't any rain coming, despite the cloudy sky going on. And Strauss is still on the inter tyres, which is certainly an interesting choice, but that might just be... I don't know. Some of the showboating.
It says pit at the moment, doesn't it?
It's not going out and track on them, so... But yes, evening to Dan in the chat.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, channel BMC.
I always forget. Going insane.
But good evening.
Right, but here we go now. T-Griff setting the first lap, and you can let me know if his pace is any good, because I don't know what kind of timers we are looking for. Setting a 108.4 to start us off.
I suppose until you get about 2 or 3 and you don't know where that actually lies, do you? Whether that's good or bad. DeRoy just coming around that final corner now, he's going to set his first time, and that's going to be quick enough. 108.4 also.
Yeah, DeRoy, quick driver. He is a reserve, the only reserve on the grid today, unless we have to call in a last minute replacement for Freefall, but he came P5 at China last week. So McConey slotting in just a 10th behind, very close so far between the first 3 drivers to set a lap. Hop more than McLaren of DeWill now. He's in the middle sector. A couple cars will set laps before him.
Yeah, that looks like we've got Scott has arrived as well.
That is good news.
You've got your voice has got a little bit quiet for me.
Me, right, okay, I'll move the mic a bit closer to my face then. There we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Jasper straight to the front, nearly half a second, or certainly good at 4 tenths over the rest of the field, which DeWill slots in again that 8.4, 8.5 group there.
Yeah,
right, so
we've lapped that 108 dead.
Yeah, I think that might certainly going to assure him into the top 10. Though Steiny, not too far off himself. Trying to remember where Steiny ended up last week. He was down in P7, so just a reminder, points for the top 12 drivers this season as Clerpiart crossing the line with a 108.6, slowest time so far, but only just off the back of the rest of them is Nolsey 108.8. And I've seen quite a lot of drivers say this, it really is one mistake and you are miles behind the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's a flat-out track, isn't it? And there's a couple of places where you can lose traction, just as Liam does exactly that. Just coming round the downhill left-hander has just lost the back end of the car, pulls out to the side and lets the other car through, whoever that is on. I think it was one of them on an outlap, or it might be Greek Bill coming round to go into the pits. But yeah, easily done. But yeah, it'll be exciting, certainly if there is any weather changes, but side-to-side racing on here can be pretty difficult in certain corners.
Yeah, of course, I believe it was Tier 4, the safety car restart, caused absolute carnage. Because, of course, everyone was still on the dry tyres, with it being sort of into conditions. No one was the first to pit, so everyone stayed out, and that caused a lot of trouble for a lot of the drivers. We'll see if the same ends up happening here, but safety car restarts at a track like this can cause a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I was tier 3 the other night. I was saying before we come on, it was exactly that. It just came at a really bad time. You know, you're in between tyres, you're just about to change, but then it's not quite wet enough to have inters on. It doesn't look like it's getting that bad. So do you take the risk of trying to keep on the slicks, or do you get on the inters and take that risk? But when the safety car's in there as well, it's I think you just panic. I think you just panic in that moment in time. You know, any decision could be the wrong decision or the right decision. Just look at the draw sometimes.
Has Strauss gone out? Strauss has gone out on his inters. Is he coming into the pits? Because I'm not aware of a quali ban, which is the kind of thing a driver might do if they have one. But we'll have to keep an eye on him there, see what ends up.
Yeah, he might just fancy a little slow one round there for the.
I mean, given the game, there's a possibility it's just a visual glitch, but we won't find out until he sets a 108 or doesn't set a 108.
Zifteroy just coming around the final corner. It looks like his teammates just ahead of him coming across the line as well.
Yeah, Cold Paradox.
Captain Nick, was that?
Slow.
Oh, sorry, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, Cold Paradox in 112.2.
And Deruy didn't go any faster, I don't believe.
It's Hobbs EP5 of 108.4. DC on board with him at 108.3. Is Captain Nick, his teammate, 1,000th behind Jet, knocking DC down to third. So immediately the timing boards, Deroy shifted from third to 6th in a matter of seconds there.
That's incredible.
Right, now I'm interested, how is Strauss going to end up doing? He'll be the next man to cross the line on his inter tyres.
Yeah, Rich's been on board with Strauss myself. He doesn't look like he's cornering too bad considering, but no way, surely not. I didn't have a chance to look at the time at the top either, so I don't know what his split is, but he's crossing the line.
Honestly, I'm impressed. He's not going to be the slowest time, I don't think. I know, just shy of Cold Paradox, but 112.3, only just behind them.
It's not bad effort.
Bit of show voting from the man.
Yeah, it must have been, yeah, because he is setting a time, so he clearly hasn't been banned for any reason, or unable to set a time, or through penalty.
Yeah, hang on, he's just gone 7/10 purple, green for the first sector. Goodness knows.
I've just jumped on board with Liam. Obviously, he's had a bit of a hard time on his first try, but he's set off again. So I'm just gonna have a little look at him. He's just coming around the double right-hander. Stays in quite a high gear for that. I'm usually full on 5, or he's slow on 6. Stays in third as well.
A few yellows in the early sectors, but I think that's just cars on their out laps letting others pass, or actually it might be an in lap. But
yeah, there's nothing to compare it to, so it doesn't say that he's up or down on his lap at the moment, Liam, but it doesn't look too bad. It was relatively tidy. He's coming around the final corner now.
No, sorry to interrupt.
See what he can do.
T-Griff just got third fastest, as Will got second fastest there. Nice. Liam off the back of the pack.
Fair play. Yeah, Liam, 108.6. Unfortunately, you'd have wanted a little bit more from that, but hasn't managed it. 4 stars just come on his lap as well, by the way. I think he's the only one not set. Oh, sorry, Tobes as well hasn't set one yet.
Yeah, Tobes still on his out lap. One of the two cars, one of the two McLarens in the middle sector. His teammate currently sitting P2, just 6 thousandths shy of the Red Bull. So we're on board with the other Red Bull. Currently, field making a Red Bull sandwich, bar freefall. Join late and thus won't be qualifying. Oh, hang on, we've got a Williams around there. That would have been Steiny, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm on board with Steiny. It's the other Williams.
Greek Bill then. It's hard enough to tell when the car's got a blue dot somewhere on the track because they're all the same colour.
Oh yeah.
But here we go, full start now. Round the last bend, coming onto the main straight. One or two drivers yet to set a lap. We will hop on board with Tobes afterwards to watch the last man set his lap. Tobes seems like he has a fairly clean bit of track ahead of him. A 1:08.7 for the Red Bull driver.
Ooh. Someone's just spun second to last corner.
Wasn't Tobes. Tobes though hasn't validated.
Steiny didn't go any quicker, I don't think. He stayed on a 1:08.0.
Yeah, trying to find a driver on a lap at the moment.
Just having a look at DC, he's also just about come to the line. He set a decent lap time before. Can he go any quicker? Fortunately not. Oh no, he's just set. Oh sorry, I think he's just starting his lap. My apologies.
Yes, Steiny, interestingly, 83 thousandths green in the first sector, and while that's not a lot, that would be enough to put him up into pole position. Currently the top 5 drivers separated by just 77 thousandths of a second. Ooh, is Steiny off into the wall, front wing gone. That is his lap. Not going to be completed here.
Jet has been validated as well, unfortunately.
Right now is Strauss. He is now on soft tyres. That's progress.
He must be in business now. Love that corner. Every single driver on a 108 something.
Yeah.
No one's gone sub 108 yet.
Ooh, hang on.
Well, bar Strauss, of course.
DC, as you say.
Yeah, so he shut me up. Well done, DC. Sub 108 at 107.8. It's decent.
Yeah, it's got a good 10 from the rest of the field. Here we go then. Strauss, next man to the line, a 108.7, so towards back of the order, but yet again another 108 for the man using Intus before. Only driver yet to set the lap now is Tobes, who we saw invalidate his first attempt.
Yeah, I thought the second time out there'd be a lot of drivers that went faster, but I think there's quite a few there that have not been able to do it on the second attempt.
Yeah, the vast majority of the drivers, of course they could have changed tyres in the pit. Only currently 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers setting the best lap on 2-lap old tyres, most of them just the 1 lap of wear on the Pirellis. Strauss, though, so far was green first sector. We'll see how he's doing through the middle sector. It's a fairly clear track ahead of him, just 2 Aston Martins and 1 other car sharing the track with him for the moment. There we go, still a little bit green, but not a lot green, unless there was a mistake in the last sector. We might see him pull into the pits, prepare for another lap later on in the session. Yeah, K is pulling into the pits. So not going to be improving this time around.
Is McConey on a lap or is he on an out lap? He's just coming up to sector 3.
Half a second green.
Oh yeah, he is.
He better not be in the lap. So McConey here looking very strong, possibly a top 5 position from him here. We will see. Certainly expect him to be within the top 7. There we go, P2. Second 107.
McConey. Wow. He stepped up when he needed to. 3 minutes still to go. I think everyone's going to still have one more effort on. Certainly all of them the pits have. But that's an unbelievable lap. They'll be happy with that. So DC and McConey now in the 107 club. Is anyone else going to join him?
Yeah, Tobes still in the pit lane, and I am going to check. Does he actually have a Corley band that we've just missed and are not aware of? Has not got one marked that I can see. So
Might just want to. He might have had one effort on the tyres and just decided that he wasn't going to burn 3. He's only going to have 2 goes, so he wants to wait until the end when the track's at, you know, a nice temperature, etc. I think that I'm going to guess that that's the case. He's just unfortunately blown his safe lap. Let's say.
Yeah, Liam invalidating there on his attempt. Luckily, very early on in his lap, so has time to improve. As Jasper already 3rd fastest, 10th and a half green in the first sector, and I believe the purple sector as well. So looking very strong here from the Red Bull driver.
3/10 quicker for De Roy, I think that was. Was that right?
Wasn't on the board.
Ooh, he's just lost it around the 2nd corner. So even if he's on a lap now, he'll back out of it.
But yeah, Jasper here, I believe 1 or 2 drivers who was not here last race, replaced by the reserves DeRoy and War Daddy. This time DeRoy back again as a reserve. Back to back, checked in quickly as Jasper, fastest man by 3 entire tail. This huge gap to the rest of the field, showing that perhaps it's a little bit too quick for Tier 2. I'll hop on board now with Tobes, man yet to set a lap.
I've just been on board with Hobbsy. He's just lost it in turn 1, unfortunately.
Hobbsy currently right around the middle of the order. Well, I imagine a lot of times are going to improve. I think that was Claire PR improving there up into P8.
There we go. Plenty on the last minute coming up. If you're not already out the pits.
Yeah, get running.
There's one in the pits. There's one in the pits. I think it's that ERO. Oh no, it's Freefall. Sorry, I don't think Freefall's come out.
No, Freefall immediately basically retired.
How did he?
I think that was kind of a I was late, I won't qualify. Right. Tobes P12, and he is now on his final lap, and I don't think he set himself up for turn 1 well, so I think that may be Tobes done with qualifying for the moment. Jasper happy with his lap. Man, he didn't race last time, a bit of catching up to do in terms of the standings and trying to find which drivers we can expect to be getting to the line soon. Greek Pill up into P8.
Is obviously 3/10 faster now than DC with a 107.5 before he's retired. That's probably the time it might take this. With a minute to go, that's another bar being raised. But Stanley's put it on second with a 107.8. Nice. Real DC also on 107.8. He's on a hot lap currently too. Can he go any better?
Drawing between the two of them there. 107.8 again, as I think that was T-Griff up into P6 joining the 107 club.
Ooh, that looked like Alpha Romeo, or was it? It was on the side of the grass.
Speaking of Alfa Romeo, the other one, Strauss on the main straight, and he looking to improve, does improve his time, not enough to gain position 1,000th behind Cole Paradox, who himself has invalidated his lap, so he's not going to be improving. A few others coming to the line. McConey is invalidated, we won't see improvement from him.
Jet's just put himself P2 with a 107.7.
I think DC's getting a bit of slipstream. I know he's giving a bit of slipstream. DC P5, Captain Nick, his teammate, up into P9. Let's try and find some others. Knowlesy pulling into the pits. Hobbsy invalidating. Who else do we still have? Claire PR.
McConey's just pulled in the pits as well. Yeah, there's a few that have backed out on their laps.
Yeah, Claire PR
already put a lap in.
I think she was going to say T-Griff, the last man. No, T-Griff has already backed out of his lap. As is Drawing Steiny, I think that's quali over.
It is.
Jasper on pole. And by decent margin for a track like this.
Yeah, he did. He left it late. But put one hell of a lap time down Jet as well, just sneaking in at the very end, putting himself P2. 2 unbelievable laps, but the field's so close there. It should be in for a decent race. It's about a 10th that separates a lot of them, isn't it? Which is good. Second.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the timing gaps, I mean, we saw multiple gaps there of just 1,000th, P15, 16, 1,000th between them. I believe I saw another one earlier on, though that gap may have changed. But we are in for a very good race.
It's going to be pacey, isn't it? Something tells me.
Yeah, but here we go. Quick rundown of the order. Front row, Jasper on pole alongside Jet. Then we've got Steiny and Roy third and fourth. The Aston Martin DC fifth, and then McConey sixth. Tigriff seventh, DeWill eighth, Captain Nick ninth, and Greek Bill in 10th. 11th Club PR alongside Liam. Then Tomes and Hobbsy, followed by Cole Paradox and Strauss. Then 4-star and Nolsey. Not the strongest laps, but of course, drivers both capable of showing pace at times, and we will see how they go in the race. Then Farrell, Freefall not setting the lap. In fact, I'm not sure if Farrell is going to be racing. No, Farrell is racing, but I saw him leave the lobby at one point, so we'll see what ends up happening there.
Well, hopefully if he was going to come in, he's in now, so just say, oh yeah, he is. Yeah, Freefall and Farrell at the bottom there, looks good. They're racing for the back, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to drive another day.
Hello to Jacob in the chat there. Come just in time for the start of the race.
Timing.
Go on, I've got to ask you. Who's your favourite for the win?
Do you know, before I was thinking I would like to see McConey up there, because he's been. I think he's got in him to win a race this season, but there's clearly about 4 or 5 that were above him there that were all setting a faster qualifying time. But the race is completely different. I always feel like my race pace is better than my qualifying times usually, but my consistency's not there. Whereas if that's the case here, hopefully he can push on and gain some places. But the honest answer is I don't know. I do not know. Jet, he came in quite late. He came in second.
Yeah, of course. Jasper, I believe we've seen him before in previous seasons. I cannot remember what his race pace is like, because last week we had a very strong qualifying from War Daddy, the reserve. But he just during the race he just fell apart. He kind of wasn't there, struggling with the battles, and just gradually fell down the order, finishing, where was it in the end? Yeah, finishing P17, despite qualifying P2 and yeah, being right up there in terms of pace. Let's have a look at the tyres, mostly the hard tyres. We've got 5 drivers choosing the mediums there, and all of them in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know if it is scheduled to be sunny all the way through, because again, if there is a weather change, then it's a big decision earlier on in the race, because it can define what happens at the end of it. But if it's sunny all the way through, then I think the medium runners have got to try and push as hard as they can to get up the pack early, because it's quite common to get in a bit of a train round here at times, isn't it? And it's very difficult to break that cycle. Whereas when everyone's tyres are a bit colder, if you're brave enough, you might get a move done in the early stages.
Yeah, the majority of the overtakes definitely going to happen on the main straight, but that doesn't mean drivers are not going to go for them elsewhere if the opportunity is left open. So, oh, hang on a minute, warming up his tyres the Verstappen way.
Yeah.
Jasper going for a lovely flat spin there.
It was quite impressive to do the full 360. To be honest, I'm going to see that you meant it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the sign of confidence or something to worry about for the Red Bull driver, but yeah, we'll see what turns out for him after the first lap.
He's certainly got a bit of warmth now in those tyres.
Yeah, and actually another thing we ought to point out, having Farrell and Freefall up the back, especially Farrell, a person to keep an eye on here, is a very fast driver, a little bit out of place in terms of grid order.
Yeah, this is the place. This is a tough place to come and get through the pack. So I'll be very impressed if I see that.
Although we have, of course,
decide that he has to do too much in turn 1.
We've seen before in real life F1 the likes of Verstappen, Hamilton, even Vettel just completely cutting through the field at times. But here we go, race about to start. Jasper on the outside in that pole position, Jet up is inside. We'll see how they manage both the 2 front runners on the hard tyre, and away they are off the line now. The Red Bull seeming like he's got a decent start, although Jet under threat from behind Steiny and DeRoy. trying to see what's happening. Doesn't appear to be much of a contact there. DC already up 3 positions.
Whoa. It's Dewell. Dewell's gone. Dewell is in a bit of a collision on turn 2. Unfortunately, got sandwiched in between 2 cars, and it looks like he spun round.
Yeah, and free fall as well.
Looks like it's free fall as well. It's just gone past Dewell, so there's been chaos at the back, and definitely some debris on the track. Is it just there's no safety car?
No safety car. Also, Cold Paradox, I believe, round Club Yard had a bit of a problem. Was down 6 positions at one point, gained a couple back since then, but that's already 3 drivers involved in collisions. The leader pulled out a gap of a second already.
So yeah, that wasn't a terrible start for Farrell after everything I've just said.
Yeah, and the person in the chat supporting Jasper certainly seems to be getting in the way thus far, although not even 1 lap down, 35 more to go throughout the race.
Jasper's launch off the line, considering he's on the hards, it was unbelievable. Very impressive. Just so sharp around that first corner and got away, and that's just it showing you there that he sets the fastest lap.
Although DC having gained 3 positions from that 5th place, is on the medium tyres now, hunting down the leader of the race. That's in a very strong position there, is the Aston Martin driver. Despite his weaker qualifying, made the most of it, and now actually got a little bit of clean air to lead challenges for the lead.
Yeah, there's managed to be a second break between all of the front 3. DC just needs to get him behind. Obviously he can, well there he has, he's just got inside a second there. If he can tighten that up a little bit by the next lap, he'll have the DRS available to him.
We'll see. And that is Greek Bill round. Where has that happened? For that uphill right-hander, I guess just the rear of the car went. Pretty common on that corner. All of the drivers really going to be pushing the limits around a track like this, where the skill is so close together. So we hop on board now with McConey, the driver you mentioned. Very close to Captain Nick up ahead, although I think saving ERS, where perhaps Captain Nick is not one of the 5 who started on the medium tyre. As DC setting the fastest lap up in P2, they're starting to close the gap down to the leader. DRS now being enabled.
Everyone's keeping it pretty tidy at the moment. Is anyone going to take a risk? It's difficult, unless you get a really good turn to get up.
I think DC might be the man to go for that risk. Of course, hunting for the lead, you're much more likely to go for a move than anywhere else, though DeWill and Cold Paradox missed that fight further down. DeWill getting past the AlphaTauri driver on those mediums against the hard tyres. Both of them ran into a bit of trouble on lap 1, so just trying to redeem the race, hoping for a safety car later, but at the very least going for a tactical recovery drive for the moment. So here we go, what can DC do now? He wants a good exit, he wants to use that DRS, he wants to use that ERS. Seems not the best exit in the world for him, though he is using that ERS, so not going to save it for a later lap. Oh no, hang on, has thought better of it. He's going to stay behind. Side by side action though, 4P7, Captain Nick and McConey. Inside line for McConey, Captain Nick on the outside. Who's going to get it? Still side by side through the centre S's. Hang on, and they're still side by side. Captain Nick on the outside of the exit of turn 3. McConey has now finally got ahead for that P7 position, but well thought between the two of them. And good to see no contact there.
Easily done as well. DC tucking himself right up behind Jasper now. He's going to have to make use of these better tyres soon. I think he knows it.
Yeah, DC man, lots of experience on his head in terms of driving. Been here longer than, well, everyone on the grid.
Yeah.
So certainly knows when he's doing plenty of races.
Yeah, he certainly does, and he's also... Oh, he's leaked a little bit of his power there. Only a little bit.
Oh, here we go, overtake for the lead. DC up the inside. Sorry to interrupt you there. That is DC up into the lead. Nice clean overtake on the main straight. And honestly, I don't think Jasper's going to be too worried. He can just sit behind, save DRS, bit of slipstream, bit of DRS. This duel setting the fastest lap from down in 17th. And I think this is just going to move.
Now DeWill.
We'll see how Jasper does hang on to DC, although he does have to worry Jet in the DRS behind him. I didn't see if that was clinging on to DC's DRS, or if that's just Jet being one of the faster drivers here on the grid. We'll keep an eye on this battle for a moment. If we see potential overtakes elsewhere, we'll hop on board with that.
Farrell now up into 10th from 19th. He'll take that in 5 laps.
Not surprised from a driver like him. I managed to completely miss that hit. So Jasper not going for the move, but certainly keeping DC humble there. Keep his eyes open as Droid passes Steiny 4P5. They're going a little bit deep and potentially allowing a position back. Mistake. Car twitches on him. T-Griff now also. No, he's off. DeRoy off. Just avoiding the wall, but catching it on the curb. Car very unsettled, flying down the order. So we've had T-Griff up into P4.
That mixed up all sorts there. Just as that happened, I think there was a few wobbly cars behind, and I think Captain Nick got past McCorney into P6 there as well, so swapped the two medium runners there, 6th and 7th. Liam as well, trying to go on the inside. He's alongside now McCorney. He's trying to make advantage of it on the hards. He's around the outside of the left-hander.
Right, and he's holding on for the moment. He's got the inside line now for the next corner. A little bit of contact. The Ferrari on the inside, still not enough. More traction on the outside there on the racing line, and I think McConey. Oh, hang on, no. Had to lift a little bit through that corner. Still battling away, but there we go. Inside line onto the last corner. We'll see what Liam can do, though. Better exit here means everything onto this main straight. And the Ferrari driver, after that hard-fought fight, not going to want to give up just yet. Got his DRS. He's not going to bother using DRS. He's just happy enough he can get the move done. It seems, though, perhaps not going to be side-by-side through the first chicane. Alpine Ferrari still fighting now. 2 sectors worth of doing so. Nudged a little bit off there, and all contact between the Williams and the Alpine. And that is what Farrell and McConey is both getting shuffled down the order. Clerpiard past both of them now.
Yeah, that was a difficult one to call, really. I don't know whether Liam might have been involved in that somehow as well, but he certainly got through. He tried to take advantage of it, and I think that there was 2 loaded on the inside, but it ended up 2, 3, even maybe 4. Clerpiard, 5-second penalty.
And that is a shame for him, because that was him passing the slower cars after the incident between Farrell and McConey, I assume. Not giving that place back. We'll see if stewards see to that being removed.
As well, I hope that, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Make sure to get that into the stewards, if that is what's just happened.
It's Jasper still just on the tail of DC, and I imagine it will not be too long. Hang on, this might be an overtake for the lead. It is. Glad I hopped on board. Shame the camera angle isn't a little better. But yeah, Jasper back into the lead. DC just behind him, and Jet still with him. You know, gap of 4.5 seconds down to P4. So the top 3 looking very strong for the moment, and another battle down in P4, helping them build time to the groups behind. There's Cole Paradox very deep into turn 1 there, looking at the mini-map. Don't know if that's damage that's causing that, or if that's just the driver struggling a little bit.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It looked like Greek Bill was going okay, and then he's been involved in that spin. DeRoy's now lost it. Well, DeRoy, where did he start? I think he's lost quite a few, hasn't he? He's 13 positions down from P4. It's unfortunate.
Was he one of the first? No, I don't think he was one of the lap 1 instance. I believe that was his teammate Cole Paradox. I remember it being one of the AlphaTauris.
Yeah, Cole Paradox got caught early doors with DeWill. So, yeah, something's been going on. Clerpiard, the only one on track that's kept his position as where he started. Oh no, sorry, no, there's
sorry to interrupt. T-Griff and Steiny up the inside of turn 1, and I think he's got the move done, going a little bit deep. We'll see if T-Griff can take advantage of the non-optimal line into the second DRS zone. It's, Steiny very, very defensive there. Actually, no, I think Steiny... no, T-Griff did get the DRS in the end, so we got a yellow further down the order for Farrell through the centre S's again. It's the second time in What's that? 3 laps he's had a problem there.
That's very unfortunate. He's maybe pushing just that little bit too hard to get up the field. Or trying to make the most of the tyres.
Ooh, and Hobbs gone for an absolute send on McConey, and do you know what? I think it might have worked. Hanging it round the outside of that long corner, and no, in the end McConey does defend him. Certainly very opportunistic by the Alfa Romeo driver there.
You sort of have to around here every now and again, though. You know, you've got to take risks in Brazil. Certainly on the game, anyway. You know, as you were saying before, in real life, it seems to be a nice place for overtakes. But yeah, it is. You don't want it to be limited to the straight all the time, especially if someone's got quicker straight line speed or, you know, a better tyre, more RS as well.
Yeah, well, we saw, of course, Alfa Romeo Bottas telling Zhou to overtake into that corner just there, because a track like Brazil, very easily a driver can be caught sleeping and just send it on them when they're least expecting it, get the move done. Nolsey here looking for the move on Liam for P7. Haas and Ferrari, that looks to be done fairly clean cut there. To P7 for him as McConey and Clerpy are side by side through that very same corner.
Oof, very close.
And not yet resolved is this battle. McConey on the inside on the mediums, but I think Clerpy has the advantage there given he's on that side of the track, and yet holding on, although hang on, no, McConey's kept it.
That was a great. McConey's accelerated so well out of that corner, and he's managed to get himself back in front before Clerpy. Yeah, fair play. Some good driving, especially the 2 corners before it, to keep it nice and safe. The pair of them side by side as well, giving plenty of respect. Top 3 have bunched up a little bit now.
Yeah, well, just that straight, actually, Jet got past DC up into P2, missed that one as we're on board with this battle further down. Sadie's looking for a move there, didn't quite happen. DeWill, though, trying to get past Hobbsy. Oh, no, and contact between the two of them, DeWill and Hobbsy are off. And that is a shame for them. DeWill does not seem to be catching a break this race.
He's been involved in 2 incidents now, on turn 1 as well before. Sorry, it was turn 3, wasn't it, where he came off and contacted, but yeah, that's an unfortunate day at the office for DeWill so far. Still a long way to go, 11 laps through 36.
I think it will now be that the hard tyres are going to be quicker than the mediums. An example of that, Jet getting past DC and dropping him a little bit, although we do know those 2 front runners are going to be some of the quicker guys on the track in terms of raw pace. So we've had a spinner of Farrell further down the order. It's actually him and we said that him and Freefall were moving up the order. They're both exactly where they started, to various incidents and mishaps and whatnot. Hang on, no, and Freefall's had a spin, so Farrell's going to get him back.
And here we go, there's DeRoy getting past Clear PR on the straight. Is he going to get it completely done before turn 1? Yes, he will, right before the braking zone, and that was one of the easier takes that he'll have this season. He'll be happy with that. Going up into the points finally. Top 12 get points now, is that right, this season?
Yeah, top 12 only, so 30 points to win, 1 point for the P12. As Cole Paradox looking for a move on Hobbsy, and it looks like that one. Ooh, he's going to say completed nice and easy. Actually, Hobbsy better traction out the corner, but nowhere to go except giving a little tap to the AlphaTauri and staying behind him in the end.
I've just been having a look on T. Griff and Stanley at the time. T. Griff started to get closer, and Stanley had a little wobble just coming out of one of the turns. I think it was sort of 6 or 7, and yeah, T. Griff got a little bit closer, but Stanley seems to have found a little bit more again and try to open it out. He's still not going to get outside of DRS, but I think he's done enough to not be taken by turn 1. Yeah, that is the case.
Yeah, I think DeWill Hobbsy most likely overtake here on the main straight. Better traction out the corner. Now DeWill is on the mediums. They might be struggling a little bit more now. They're going to have strengths in different places, and the McLaren driver certainly appears to have the overspeed, looking for a move on the outside into turn 1. It's very hard to say if he's going to get this here. On the outside, ooh, is that contact again? I'm not sure. Both drivers went round, so it certainly implies it.
Oh my word.
DeWill not getting a break here.
DeWill's having a nightmare. Obviously, at this moment in time as well, we don't know who's at fault. I'm sure there'll be things going into the stewards later on, of course. So I didn't see that, so I'm not sure what happened.
I caught it, but even then, it's hard to call who it was. I mean, it might just very well be a racing incident of DeWill could have left a bit more space. Hobbsy could have understeered a bit less. Neither driver was really to blame. Both suffered no damage. So I think it's perfectly possible. No penalising going to happen there. Just bad luck for the two drivers.
Unfortunately so. What lap are you thinking the medium runners are going to be coming in? 36 laps, obviously it's 18 is going to be halfway there. We've done 14 already. Or coming up to the 14th lap, on the 14th lap.
Very hard to say. Of course, you know the strategy better than I do. Not an F1 racer myself, so very hard to say, though the medium's certainly struggling now. DC 2 seconds behind the two leaders, and the rest of the medium runners struggling a little bit. McConey, of course, into the pits this very lap. So I guess the medium boys in the next few laps, the drivers on hard tyres. Perhaps it won't be until the late teens, maybe even the early 20s in terms of laps. Could be trying to extend until there's a safety car. At the moment, no collisions too heavy causing that. All the drivers very good at being respectful here in this league.
Tubbs and Liam have just been side by side a second ago, going around turn 4. Liam's just managed to get himself back out in front of Tubbs, but I think Strauss benefited from that and sort of closed himself up even closer, so there's not much between these three. And as I say, that Tubbs has got the DRS and his ERS open, and he's going past him on the main straight. He's going to maybe run out of ERS, which that means that I think Liam, if he'd have actually spent a little bit of his, would have had that position probably defended. But he's just about to come back onto the next DRS within 2 turns' time, and he'll probably take that position back, I would have thought. He's certainly dumping, and I'd be right in thinking that Liam's done exactly that. Gone straight back past Tubbs, and by turn 4, he's regained the position into P8.
Yeah, good battle that one. Of course, neither driver can afford to make too big a mistake or too big a commitment, given that Strauss is hot on their heels, waiting for one of them to make a slip up. I was actually on board with that battle you mentioned last lap, so...
Oh, sorry.
Race started to settle down a little bit now. Pockets of battles building here and there. DC in no man's land for the moment in that P3. We'll see when he pits. When do you reckon he'll pit? Because I would have thought it would be, well, possibly 17 or 18. Half the race on the mediums could be rather brave. There's, Nick into the pits.
Yeah. It's going to be, I mean, really, realistically, it is going to be certainly within a couple of laps. You would have thought, surely half lap on medium. It's just as soon as the mediums go off, if you've been looking after them well enough and you're not losing any time, then sometimes track position is not a bad thing either, just to stay and have a little look at what the drivers are doing.
Yeah,
looks like it's going to be a sunny race.
DeWill out the last corner, didn't see if that was a spin, contact or what, but his medium tyres are looking very hot as he exited there, and now he's coming into the pits, I suspect, for a change onto the hard tyres, and oh no.
He's retired.
Yeah.
He's retired.
Race not at all going his way.
Anyway, maybe. Yeah. That was a tough one for DeWill, unfortunately today.
Shame for the French driver, though. Can't claim to be massively surprised. Really, really unlucky that race. Quite probably the unluckiest driver on the grid. Everything going wrong for him. Multiple incidents and multiple different drivers. Never raced the man in F1, but I've raced him in Gran Turismo, and certainly a very fun driver to race against when it goes his way. But does not seem to be the luckiest when it comes to incidents at times.
Yeah. I've in fact been a previous steward. I've seen him in quite a few unlucky, actually genuinely really unlucky incidents where he's just been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
I know how he feels. I definitely know how he feels.
It's not just his end, he does just seem to be that unlucky at times. So Coney set in the fastest lap from, where is he, P16. I think the first driver to go onto new tyres. All the medium boys have pitted. DC came out in P12 there.
The question is fresh the first couple of laps, is he going to be able to... He's going to come out into fresh air, and he's in fresh air at the moment, so that might work in his favour potentially.
Yeah, so now thing to note, medium drivers pitted, I think lap 14, 15 and 16, all of them did. So that suggests it'll be lap 20, 21 and 22 when we see the majority of boys on the hard tyres. As that is an overtake for P3 T-Griff on Steiny. That's just a nice simple on the main straight, missed the actual overtake happen. It's possibly again going to be repeated between Clerpiar and Forstart. See how it goes. The two of them were certainly in a party together. Usually, that's him up into P10. Someone asking to see the gap between the two leaders. Very much staying at half a second for the moment. We'll have a look. ERS similar between them.
Brilliant battle. Sorry, mate. Just saying, Tobes and Liam having a superb battle. That the double right-hander again, side-by-side racing. They've swapped positions a couple of times, I think. These two, and again Strauss is just sort of sat on the heels of them, just waiting to pounce. But all of the top 11 drivers, all on 17 laps of those hards. There's only DC tucked in another 3 of them that just to have the stop for the hard tyres. How long do you think that they'll go on the hards? And is hard soft an option round here, by the way? Do you think anybody will go for that?
Certainly possible, and especially if they're waiting to try and extend it towards safety cars. More likely to be encouraged in that form. No one's going to pit end of this lap. I think we'll be looking at lap 21 is when we'll start to see a few drivers. Based on how long the mediums went when they started to suffer. It's Steiny going a bit wide there in the battle with T-Griff. Gap between the front two holding very, very steady. What's that? 15-16% advantage for Jet in terms of ERS. Jasper, slight loss of traction out that corner, but...
And we're saying that Jet's got 75% still of his available ERS, as Jasper's got 59%. So these two have played it pretty well, the top two. Probably the two highest values across the whole field.
Yeah, Steiny making a mistake there. Dropping him down. Was battling with T-Griff. Now, what, nearly 7 seconds behind the Haas driver. Haas currently sitting in 3-4. Actually, something interesting I saw mentioned last race. So, the 20... Oh, mistake from Jasper, and that is going to be no take for the lead, most likely. Mercedes driver on the inside of turn 3. And, yeah, and he's got the DRS, of course, down the second straight, as we're starting to see some people pit at the end of lap 19. And turns out I was wrong, people pitting a bit, or a lap earlier than I expected. Keep on board with this battle for the moment. Certainly nice to see a bit of leader change. Jasper holding it for so long once he got back past DC. But to get back to what I was saying, last race someone pointed out that the tier 2 drivers and for every other tier were potted, pot 1 and pot 2, to try and make the two teams balanced, and all the pot 1 drivers finished ahead of all the pot 2 drivers last race.
No way.
So clearly very good job at choosing where to place each driver's Jet, going a little bit deep into the last corner, and that might leave a chance of an overtake open for the Red Bull, although seems to be sitting behind, not burning his ERS, just closing up the gap, possibly to go for a move down the next straight, sorry.
Yeah.
So I think a much more confident driver from the Red Bull, even if Jet's got the pace. We saw Jasper make that mistake. I think for the moment the Red Bull gonna feel more comfortable, but yet another Red Bull Mercedes battle for the lead. So got used to this sight in 21.
Yeah, that's you're all sort of sad to see everyone dive in the pits now. It was only that the top 6 are all deciding to stay out. One more, that's that 21st lap that you did call. Get the 15 laps to bring them home on the mediums. That's if there is no safety cars. Looks like it's been relatively clean in the main, apart from a couple of little incidents, but it's all been quite tidy.
Yeah, just to correct you quickly, it was going to end up being 16 laps, not 15 laps, because it was the end of lap 20 in the pit. Now we are on lap 21. And hang on, yeah, we've got a battle here for P10 between Liam and Steiny. Steiny already had a lap to warm up his tyres, so I imagine we'll be at an advantage Want to get past Coney while he's still in there as the two leaders come into the pit lane. Suspect we'll see the two Haas cars follow them in. Tigriff has Knowlesy interestingly staying out for one more lap, so that should help him towards the end of the race.
He wouldn't want a double bank, would he?
That's good. Yeah, good point there. Just don't think too many other teams need to consider that fact. The Aston Martins might have... No, DC's already pit, but actually both Aston Martins did the medium hard. So potentially looking very strong for them. Currently, who's going to be the net lead? Is Jet going to be out the pits? Yeah, Jet is ahead of DC. We'll see what that turns out for him as Steiny setting the fastest lap. These two Alpines battling away. The advantage is going to be to Steiny, of course, on those fresh medium tyres. So free fall speeding in the pit lane.
Obviously, he's took Steiny's fastest lap for a 1:10.6. You'll see them probably get broken one or two more times in the next couple of laps, I would have thought, for some of these fresh medium runners.
Yeah, now of course there is still the possibility of a safety car. We can't forget about that. As we see McConey now under threat from Liam again. More drivers on the fresh mediums. You can just see that extra traction, able to try and go for a cutback where normally it would simply not be possible. But I think it'd be better biding his time, going for it on the straight, save his tyres a little bit more for the end of the race when it matters.
It's in the chat as well. Is it Caleb Bartlett? Can we look at the gap to the leader?
That was 6 minutes ago, and we did look at the gap between the two leaders at that point. But of course,
I thought you wanted like a full. I don't know. I thought you meant like everybody's.
Oh yeah. Oh, you might be right. Yeah. My mistake. I believe you are correct. But yeah, here we go. My misunderstanding of what you meant. You can see free fall all the way a minute down from the order. By habit, I always use the interval because it's much easier to tell where the battles are between the drivers.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think I might be wrong. I might be wrong. You might have been right all along. But,
no, I suspect you are correct. But yeah, you can see here the top four drivers. 7 seconds separating them. Of course, Knowlesy DeRoy still need to pit. We'll see now if Knowlesy does pull off into the pit lane. He's coming towards the entrance now. But I'm going to stay on board with this Tigriff Steiny battle. Knowlesy staying out for another one. Perhaps trying out the hard soft you suggested. DeRoy though is coming into the pits, being the second last man, staying on his starting tyres. Jasper fastest lap on those mediums. Actually, is that a battle between him and Jet? Just behind, somehow Jet has jumped Jasper. That we've missed the overtake going on there. So an awful lot going on throughout the grid. I'm struggling to keep up with it all, certainly.
Yeah, I've just noticed that Strauss got past Tobes on the straight, just coming into turn one, I believe. He just got that done. Again, just one lap, fresher tyres on Tobes, but yeah, I think he's now in P10 with McConey sat behind Liam. Not a great deal of a gap between some of the drivers now. Captain Nick as well, only a few tenths behind Steiny, going around the sweeping right-hander uphill in Sector 2.
Yeah, currently on board with the battle for P4. DC on the hard tyres, Tigriff on the fresh mediums. Of course, for the moment, going to be advantage to that Haas car. Later on in the race, that's going to change the weight of the Aston Martin. It's actually, hang on, no. Overtake port P2 happening as we speak. The two drivers who are in the net lead, so very important here. Jasper through into P2, net P1 as Knowlesy still going on, perhaps waiting for that potential safety car, or just waiting to go onto the soft tyres. Tigriff has got past DC.
He did get past DC, and he also nearly lost the back end ever so slightly going around turn one, but he's ended up keeping it nice, and he's actually pulled away enough to not really have to worry about DC going into turn four on that the first DRS. So yeah, he's fine. He's got that move done. Yeah, you would expect tyre-wise that he would get that done. So
just to have a quick look, of course, Knowlesy still needs to pit, but the positions changed from where everyone started. Knowlesy, of course, up 17. Although actually I imagine he will still have gained positions once he has pitted. Big gainers and losers. Tigriff up 3, or that will become up 4. Liam up 4 positions there. Strauss up 6 positions. And Droy down 8, of course qualified P4, dropped down a lot, and Clerpiar down 5. Have to keep an eye though on where Nolsey ends up coming out of the pit lane. Where is he going to slot into it all?
Nolsey's coming out on softs.
Ah, yeah. So there you go.
10 laps. He has gone for it.
There's Ferrari of Freefall spinning in the middle sector. Battle between Liam and Captain Nick going on. Which Nolsey's come out just ahead of on his soft tyres.
Looks in a good place, Knowles, if he can utilise these tyres.
Yeah.
Put a bit of a push on.
11 laps on the tyres. They are certainly going to be hurting by the end, but he's, well, I mean, he's already up, what is it, 12 positions from where he started? Yeah. So certainly improvements given what he had to work with after qualifying.
I personally think that he might have been a little bit better seeing out a lap or two more before he came into those softs. I think eight really nice laps on the softs. So once you start getting towards 10, 11, I think he's going to be struggling a little bit towards the end. But I might be wrong.
No, to be fair, I think I completely agree with you. Those softs are going to be hurting after 11. How much? Hard to say, because we saw the mediums, some drivers taking them 17 laps, was it, at most? And you could really start to see them struggling compared to the hard tyres towards the end of that. It's possible it's going to work well for them.
Alongside Stanley on the inside, going into turn 4, and I think he's going to get that done nice and easy.
Oof, hang on, nearly 4 wide here. Sorry, 3 wide. I don't know which battle you're looking at, but battle for P8. Captain Nick, Tobes, Strauss, and McConey all battling away there like crazy. I've had Daniel the free for getting a 3-second penalty, but my goodness, what a battle there. Strauss coming out on top, though. Captain Nick going for an absolute send there. And you know what? I think he's made that work on the hard tyres. The Aston Martin driver Strauss trying to come back. McConey now threatening Strauss. We'll see. No, hang on. Captain Nick and Strauss still side by side, and behind all this battling, Droy said, you know what, you're going to battle, I'm going to catch up with you. Captain Nick a little bit of getting away. McConey and Strauss still side by side now. Who's going to get a better exit? Seems McConey's slightly better traction, but of course both of them are going to have that DRS onto the main straight. I'm sure we're going to see plenty of moves sending it into turn 1. Nearly 2x2 here. McLaren.
Tubbs going for the double.
Absolutely meds up.
I'd say it's a bad place to be for Tubbs. Just keep that safe. Oh no, the slight contact. There's 2 of them gone. Oh no, DeRoy's got caught up in behind Tubbs. Oh no. That is really unfortunate. They were honestly looking like a rolling start at one point there. They were so close together, and it was just unbelievable racing. They were just all so comfortable around each other, sort of fitting in between each other like the red arrows. And then that's so unfortunate, by the way. That was a shame. It didn't deserve the racing that it was just before it.
Yeah, Tobe's really struggling to get away there, of course, on hot tyres. Didn't see any damage. Both drivers did keep it out of the wall, so I think both have their front wings intact. Don't have to worry too much about that, but of course, despite the fact that this battle lost 2 drivers, it is still a 3-way battle for P8. I think quite possibly the craziest battle we are going to see here at this race, unless we do get a safety car with a safety car restart to come along.
Yeah, I'm just noticing that Jet keeps getting inside the. He's in the DRS and he keeps getting it, but he doesn't seem to be spending any ERS at any point. It seems like he's just collecting it at the moment. So I don't know whether or not there's some tactics going on that here, you know, with a few laps to go, whether or not he's happier tucked in than actually trying to get past. I don't know. He's certainly not making any efforts from what I can see at the moment.
Yeah, because I'm trying to keep an eye.
Unless Jasper's just that quick.
I'm keeping an eye on that gap, and kind of it never gets less than half a second. I think the 2 of them just happy, not bothering each other. They can battle near the end, preserve their tyres, hold on to the P12, and save the battle and save the ERS for later. Which doesn't make a particularly interesting battle for the lead, because still have to check in on the 2 drivers out front, demolishing the rest of the field. 10 seconds down to T-Griff, who himself is a bit of barrier. Down to DC and Nolsey, who actually might be going for a move on the soft tyres. We will have to keep an eye on this. Oh, they're still fresh. This should be a piece of cake for him against DC on the old hard tyres. DC, one of the few drivers we saw starting P5 on the mediums. worked his way up into the lead in that first stint, now dropped down a little bit more. And actually this gap is staying pretty sizable, not really coming down. I think the use of ERS being saved, I don't know how much DC have, is a little bit less, about 15-16% again there.
Yeah, Nick's used all of his ERS, McConey all of his, Forster all of his, Greek Bill all of his. So there's quite a few drivers that are certainly spending quite a lot to keep up, I suppose, and keep in the race with only 6 laps to go. Going to make it difficult on the straight to get past anyone, no?
Yeah, not many drivers still with it, as is that Farrell into turn 1 making a mistake there. The driver already a long way down from the lead. I think realistically it is just Jasper and Jet in contention for the lead, but I would say we have got maybe only 3 drivers in contention for... Ooh, you're right, he has. What has caused that?
Well, I've just noticed there that when I was on board with Jasper, he did have his ERS open, and I don't know whether or not he's just spent a little bit of it to try and create a gap, and Jet didn't follow suit, or decided not to follow suit. He is now coming down this next straight, and after the Curva de Sol, turn 3 at Brazil. But he hasn't really caught any time in that, so there's now 2 seconds separate the front two, and I don't know how that happened.
Well,
so
Jet
fast,
last lap was 1.6 seconds down from his fastest, which might not necessarily sound like a lot compared to some other race pace, but last time I hopped on board with Jasper, it was actually his fastest lap. It was a 10th up compared to his previous best, so I think it would have just been a mistake somewhere. Didn't see which sector, wasn't paying enough attention to the timing gap there. But as I said earlier, Jasper just seems to be in more control, seems to be more confident with the car. We did see that mistake earlier on in the race, but it seems that is seeming to be the case, as Deroy down P18 setting the fastest lap. The point for fastest lap only awarded if you're around the top 10, and of course if you're outside the top 10 then you can just pit for the fun of it and try and snipe the fastest lap, as you're not going to get points anyway unless you're in the top 12. It certainly seems to happen a lot, happened last race.
Fair play. It's worth noting as well that Knowlesy did get past DC there on the 5 lap softs. He's got the job done in just earlier on in this lap. They're coming around the final corner now. Oh, sorry, they're coming up. I'm further up the track now. Sorry, I'm on board with McConey. But yeah, Knowlesy into P4.
Yeah, this battle, Captain Nick Strauss-McConey, is still going on here. And actually a 4-star does seem to have hopped onto the back of it on his medium tyres. Now the longer this goes on, the more of a disadvantage Strauss is going to be at. We can have a quick look. Where did these boys finish the race last time? So actually Farrell down in P17 was the driver who got the win, but Jet got P2 last race as well. So if he can get back-to-back P2s, very strong for his championship hopes. Now of course still very early days, just 1 race completed so far. This will be the 2nd and CRL's longest season ever, 16 races this time round, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Not going to finish until
is it?
Yeah, mid-May. So a long way to go till it concludes. There's the tiniest moment by Strauss there on the exit to the last corner. That might give McConey a chance to pounce. Then McConey saving his ERS, it seems, not taking full advantage of it. Strauss himself actually closes down on Nick ahead, despite the fact he was the one who made the mistake, albeit a small one on the exit to the corner. The longer this goes on, the weaker the medium tyres are going to be compared to the hards, as Steiny and Liam missed that gap being so small. But these two very similar tyres, very similar ages. Steiny only 1 lap older, as they are battling away now. And Liam here, another one of the drivers near the top of the championship, got a podium last race.
No.
We're looking to do the best.
He's retired to the pit, it's okay. I thought there was a crash there, sorry to jump in. I thought Deroy had crashed, but he sped into the pit lane, I think, and then he retired, so he's called it a day.
Alright, hopping back on board now. The gap's closed even more for this P8 battle.
Sorry, Stanley's just had a little wobble there coming out of the the penultimate corner, and he's just let Liam just pull that little bit further away from him now and out of DRS. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'm normally really bad at doing this, but if you are enjoying this, do make sure to subscribe to catch us next week. Of course, the Tier 1 race will be starting. When will it be starting? Guess around about 9 o'clock. It usually ends. They'll be in qualifying at the moment, but the race itself you can catch just after this. You can ignore our post-race interviews, the battle going on here between Strauss and Nick, and go and catch that. And oh my goodness, is that
what was going on there?
Back marker of Cold Paradox, I think? Or is that... No, that's Droid's car coming out the pit lane.
Oh, you're joking, is it?
I think it must have been, because the car's just vanished.
It was just... There was turn 4, just before turn 4, there was a car parked on the outside. I couldn't quite make out what it was. Oh, that's Captain Nick, he spun! Oh, unlucky Nick. He was going alright, but yeah, that's a full spin for Nick.
And that is a front left end plate gone as well. And I don't think we are going to see Nick pit, because he only has, what is it, 3 more laps after the end of this one. He might pit. Of course, he's now outside the points, so it might be just a case of, okay, I want the last laps to be a nice drive. I'll pit for fresh softs, and new front wing, just enjoy the last 3 laps, sending it around. That is such a shame for him, looking on for a P8, no longer going to happen there for him. I think I was on board with it, but of course I wasn't actually looking at my screen at the time, so didn't see what happened. There's freefall now coming out the pits alongside this battle, though it is a lap down. Going to slot in just behind. You'll see not too many battles going on. It is just that battle for P8. Captain Nick has taken himself out of Nick, yeah, not pitting, leaving himself in position to potentially scoop up more places if other drivers make mistakes. But Jasper at the moment, absolute dominance. After Jet made that mistake, he's just held on to the lead and kept it all the way. He got that pole position. Of course, not going to get fastest lap, not going to have led the race all the way through, but he's there at the end when it matters. Now on to the last lap. Gap of 1.9 seconds, can coast to the end of this race. Jet ran out of ERS. Meanwhile, Jasper's still on 40%. So tells you everything you need to know about who is being in control of this race. And I'm sure that gap is going to come down a little bit, because Jet's going to be pushing his heart out, and Jasper's going to be thinking, okay, nice and easy coast to the line. But yeah, brilliant job from the Red Bull driver.
They've just continued them two as well to just pull away from the rest of the field. That the gap from T-Griff's gone another couple of seconds further again, hasn't it, in the last few laps? Yeah,
and it seems actually Knowles' strategy, we criticised him for pitting early. Do you know what? This worked a treat. Had a bit of a job to catch up with T-Griff. Perhaps could have maybe held on one more lap, but in the end it has worked for him. That gap, yeah, has come down half a second as expected. But here we go, Jasper to the line now, using his ERS, finally realising he can do so, and crossing the line to take the win of round 2, winning the Brazilian Grand Prix. Jet just behind him, and then a massive gap down to the rest of them. And you know what, how big 3 seconds of penalties for T-Griff, so not quite enough for his teammate to get him back. But here we go, T-Griff to the line, and he is going to hold on to that P3 despite the 3-second penalty. His teammate picking up P4, so good day for the Haas boys. DC P5, and Liam, Steiny, Strauss holding off McConey and 4-star. Of course, that was that battle that kept on having more drivers added and taken away. In the end,
yeah, McConey 23 laps on those hards in the end. Was the longest stint, I think, on today's race on the hards.
Yeah, and that's a spin from Leclerc PR further down the order. As Cold Paradox picks up the last point. McConey just missing out. Captain Nick, Nick, you can see there with his damaged front wing after that mistake.
Total span in the penultimate corner, and clearly has gone past him. But not that any of them are going to pick up points today, unfortunately.
Yeah, there we go. I think that was an amazing race there.
Yeah, it got better Jasper in the first place. I was a little bit worried.
And no safety car as well, which are always a good thing for driving standards. They're not necessarily always a good thing if you're sitting in the commentary box where you want that bit more action.
Yeah, that's true.
Always good to see
but
from
yeah,
our drivers.
It was. I thought that the standard of driving today was really good in general. There was a lot of close racing that we saw was very fair in the main. Maybe there's 1 or 2 drivers in the stewards area after the race that might not say the same in terms of their race, but I think unfortunately DeWill's had a really bad day at the office. He's been involved in 2 or 3 things, so it was disappointing for him, but On the flip side, there was some unbelievable drives. Knowlesy of note did really well today, on a bit of a varied strategy from everybody else. And the top two in Jet and Jasper were just solid, absolutely solid from really the very beginning of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it was that battle for P8, the gift that just kept on giving. I think we saw at least 6 drivers there, possibly even more, that just kept on coming to the battle. But here we go, end result. Jasper getting that win. Jet and T-Griff taking up the rest of the podium. And right through the rest of the order, Knowlesy, DC, Liam, Steiny, Strauss, McConey, 4-star, taking 10th, Greek Bill and Cole Paradox picking up that last point. And Hobbsy, Captain Nick, Clerpiar, Tobes, Freefall. Who got fastest lap in the end? It was DeRoy. Farrell DNFing, but it was within the last 3 laps, so he will still be qualified despite not getting any points anyway. So DeRoy P19 with that fastest lap, and then DeWill, we saw just how unlucky he was in the end. So
if you're a DNF, you still get the fastest lap, or is it the second next person to get it?
You might be right. Actually, I didn't see who it was.
Yeah, I didn't. I was just trying to make it before it came off. I'm just going to nip away. By the way, I just need to go to the loo desperately.
Right, then I will try and get the drivers in for a post-race interview. I will need to invite them to a party in PlayStation. So give me a second. Ask them that. Try and get them in. So it's a Jasper, Jet, and T-Griff are 3 podium boys. See if they want to have a talk to us, or just go and celebrate their respective podium and win. But a mighty race there. We saw that. For me, it was that P8 battle in the end that made it the most exciting. The gift that kept on giving, but also Jasper just showing how dominant you can be at times. Jet shown with threat to be at times, but in the end, not enough to catch up with that Red Bull driver. This does put Jet as the championship leader, I believe, and I think, I'm not sure if it would be T-Griff or Liam behind him. It certainly got a little bit of gap down. Unable to show you the standings, but I can say now that Jet will be on 48 points, which is more than what anyone else is going to have. Right, there we go. So we've had the yes from Jet and T-Griff. Leave the 2 of them added to the party, so hopefully they'll be joining us shortly. Unable to get the race leader in, can certainly speak to Jet about the battle for the lead, and just T-Griff in general about his race. Right, now the 2 of them have joined the party, but my internet means I'm not going to be able to hear them and them not me for about 25 seconds for whatever reason. So to see the 2 of them have joined, ask them some questions on how they found the race once it is all working, and hear their perspective on things. Right, can you 2 boys hear me?
Yep.
Right, nice.
I cannot hear Fandango.
That is because he's gone for a loo break, so that's
okay.
To be expected. So first off, Jet, you were in that lead battle with Jasper. Did you think this was a shot, or was it just kind of his driving was that much more confident?
It was a bit of both, because our pace was so well matched that even since qualifying, we were only like, what, 2 tenths off each other?
Yeah, I think so.
And like we stayed within like a second and a half of each other the entire race until my TV decided to play sabotages with me.
Ah, because we missed out what happened to you, but what was it? Just display...
Basically what happened is, it asked me to shut down in the middle of the screen. So I had to pause the game, get out of my rig, tell it no, and then get back in the rig, and by that time, thankfully it was in the middle sector, so I didn't lose that much time, but I still lost like a second and a half, which... And because our pace was so similar, I just couldn't gain that back.
Yeah, and so something I should have checked already. Just to check, do you both have your audio sharing on?
Think so, yeah.
Right, nice. Yeah, because I mean, watching that battle, we didn't see what happened in the end, but that does explain a lot, because you two were both so well matched, I think. By your monitor playing sabotage, the only mistake we saw was Jasper through turn 3 having a little bit of a moment where you got him. I think that was towards the end of the first stint.
Yeah. So I wasn't expecting to make a mistake, and then I saw that and thought, oh god, right, I've gone to the inside, let's hope he doesn't turn on me, and he saw me I was there and just gave me the room. And because I had DRS as well, I could able to like power away as well.
Yeah, and then to move on to Tigriff, I mean, P3 for you, but just so far off the leaders. Did you at any point think you stood a chance of catching them?
Nah, I mean, both the guys are just so quick. Obviously, I didn't have the best qualifying, so I was a little behind them, then got stuck in a train for a little. I think as soon as I clear out, I was already 8 seconds behind, and yeah, I just couldn't match them today.
Yeah, but I guess pretty happy with that result in the end. I think that might put you... I'm not sure if it puts you P2 or 3 in the standings. Jet, I'm pretty sure you have jumped to be championship leader, so well done on that front.
I think so. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll be Liam or you, Tigriff, who's got P2, but certainly the two of you will be pretty close. There's still a bit of a distance behind Jet.
Yeah, I mean, just put 2 great races together, to be fair, so he deserves to be leading the championship. Just a long way to go, just hopefully keep getting better. I've gone to manual gears this year, so hopefully as I get more comfortable with that, I get a bit more pace, and hopefully I can get up to the front.
Yeah, so on to the potentially controversial question. How do we all find Monaco? What's opinions there? Because that is...
inbound.
our track next week.
I think I've done about 20 laps on it this game. If that, because I had a league race here in I had a league race in PSGL, and I didn't do any practice for it, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, actually that's going to be the same with both of you. DeWill known to be a bit of a king around Monaco, so we'll see how he does there. I don't know how much you were paying attention to him, but he had the most unlucky race here, resulting in a DNF from him. But yeah.
Who was that, sorry?
DeWill.
DeWill. Oh, yeah.
He'll be one to watch out for. So Monaco, I think, is his speciality. Oh, Jasper has joined.
So it's another guarantee. Yep. Yeah, he has joined.
Yeah. So I won't be able to hear Jasper just yet, but can ask him his opinion on the race and on Monaco. As he missed last race. Right. Jasper, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Nice. So first off, congratulations on your win. A very hard-fought battle there with Jet.
Yes, indeed.
So I've now heard Jet's side of the story as for what his mistake was. So his monitor came up with a thing saying it wanted to shut down an update during the middle sector.
Oh, yeah, he already said something about this TV not doing it, so yeah, that was very painful. We had a really nice battle. Really well, close for a long time.
Yeah, because apart from your mistake in turn 3, I can't remember exactly when that was. I think you two just drove flawlessly. I mean, you demolished the rest of the field between the two of you.
Jet only had some couple of problems when I was driving behind him with the last corner. Always missing the overtakes.
Yeah.
I saw it, and every time the last corner it was really hard for you.
Yeah, because I'd always keep just touching the curb and the grass, sorry, with my front right, so it just unsettled the car. So I was basically trying to not drift it through the corner.
Right, yeah. Right, actually, I already asked others for this. Jasper, what's your opinion on Monaco?
Less than my favorite, liked it much, but I don't know what I'm thinking about Monaco this game. I haven't driven it that much, so I will just see of my times and how I will feel like it. I really liked the last game, so.
All right, I have to keep an eye on you then. Cause I saw, I think it was it DC jokingly saying up to tier 1 for you.
I didn't notice.
I had a thought train. Where's it gone? I can't remember. Right, well, thank you guys for joining for the interview. Once again, congratulations on your... Oh, that was it. No, I remember now. Okay, yeah. Jasper, so your win, exactly what you want after missing the first round. Championship standings wise, I think that's going to slot you in possibly as high as 4th or 5th place, despite missing the first race.
Yeah, that's decent. That's decent.
Definitely.
Let's do some. Yeah, I will going to try to get higher next race at Monaco.
I think just finishing next race in Monaco would be a highlight.
Yeah. There are no safety cars at Monaco or something 3 years from now in this game, such a glitch or something. So there will be no safety cars if I'm sure. I think there will be no safety cars.
It'll be interesting to see that there isn't. I've just on TT actually. DeWill is one of the faster ones on.
Yeah.
He's a sub 110, 109.9. He's
Oh, what?
109.9.
Ah, great, okay.
So
that's good.
He's quite quick.
No,
Yeah.
but I will have him in my backpack, which will be fine.
Go and get sweated.
I don't have much time to practice these days because schools be very busy for me. So let's hope to practice more from Monaco.
Yeah. Right, well, thank you guys. I think I'm going to end stream here, partly because only 2 people are watching, and partly because the tier 1 race is about to start. So thank you guys for the interview, thank you guys for watching, and I will end this until Monaco next week. Go watch tier 1.
Yep, we'll do.